Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried and Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires Belief Cast. Thank you once again for tuning in. I love you guys so much for all your support. It's been fantastic. I also like to give a shout out to our sponsors. We have Wasatch Recovery, Siegfried and Jensen, Veracity Networks, I Hill Institute, and Living Recoveries Interventions. You guys are amazing. We also have a private donor that didn't want to even be mentioned, but I just a little shout out, send it out to the universe. Thank you so much for just being amazing. And because of you guys, this podcast is trending on all platforms and it's amazing. So thank you so much. And I also have to give a shout out to our previous guests. That's why this is amazing, because I have these guests come on who are amazing people who have overcome amazing odds or doing amazing things. And today's going to be no different. Today, we're joined by the founder and CEO of chemicalfreebody.com, Tim James. Tim, thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
My pleasure, Todd. And I'm really excited to share a message with your listeners. And I hope that, as always, that, we're probably going to go over hopefully a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
And give people a lot of tools. But I just hope that people will take one thing that resonates with them, that inspires them. And the most important thing is, getting awareness, and then getting that education. And then the third most key component is the action step, inspiring enough and giving you a tool that you can actually take action on that will move you forward in your life. So important today. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tim. A little more background on Tim, and you guys are going to find out quickly. He's one of those guys that will leave you feeling younger and more energetic by just hearing him talk, hearing him speak. I've done a lot of research on Tim, and I'm so grateful that we've connected, and this is going to be a treat for all of us. His passion flows out of him like a fresh waterfall in a dry desert. He's turning 48, but he feels like he's 18 with more energy. And again, we're going to talk about what his secrets is. And one of his journey actually led to a discovery that helped his friend beat cancer and transformed every area of his life. Feeling charged with the duty to help others, he started sharing this knowledge with anyone that would listen. Again, he's also the host of one of the fastest growing health podcasts. It's called Health Hero Show with Tim James. And we're just very blessed to have you, Tim. And I'm excited to hear all these amazing things that you're doing. So why don't we start with, hey, where did you grow up? And tell us a little bit about your childhood and how you were as a child.
Sure, man. Well, first off, I got to get that bio updated because I'm almost 49 now.
Oh, okay.
So normally, back in the day, it's like we don't, as soon as you hit a certain age, like 30, you don't like to tell people your age anymore. But I love getting older now. I love it because it's not reflected in me. And before that, which I'm going to tell you my story, it was like I was going down the other path. So what happened was I grew up on a small cattle and hay farm in Eastern Oregon.
Okay.
I grew up on the standard American diet, like most folks, right?
Yeah.
That worked fine when I was young. I actually played baseball at a high level. I was hunting and fishing, and I was outdoors a lot. We had Hereford cattle, grass hay, alfalfa hay, and then we had a huge garden and stuff like that. My mom we picked raspberries and stuff like that and sold them so I could have, nice pants to wear and get my Letterman's jacket. Cause we, I literally grew up on a dirt road and I wouldn't change that for anything. So there's just something about, being, the salt of the earth and being out there, like growing up in the dirt. Like it's, I look back on it now and I was like embarrassed as a kid because I had, high waters and, wearing my shoes until the whole soles would wear out. But there's just something cool about that now looking back, and it gave me a strength and resilience today it's carried me. So anyway, but fast forward at age 37, I found myself 42 pounds overweight. I had a huge patch of eczema on my knee and on both of my elbows. So for those of you that have skin issues like eczema or psoriasis, you know what I'm talking about. It was terrible. Yeah. It was embarrassing. I didn't want to take my shirt off anymore because I look like Salamander Man. But
oh wow,
as a financial advisor, I couldn't even wear white shirts anymore, Todd, because I crack and bleed and I'd stain them. So I had to wear dark shirts, dark blues and black and stuff like that. And, whatever, no big deal. But my health kept getting progressively worse. I kept gaining 2, 3, 4 pounds a year. My energy kept going down. I started developing this mental fog. When I moved across town, I actually got away from my buddies at the gym, and I just stopped going to the gym completely. The only exercise I was getting was walking my dogs because they couldn't walk themselves, and I knew that I had to take response. I was
Right.
we raised animals and stuff on the farm. You have to take care of them. So thank God for the dogs because they walked me every day. Yeah, me some type of exercise. And but then it got worse, man. Then I started when I would poop, I would bleed. And this would happen. This rectal bleeding went on for like 2.5 years. So I was like a dude with the head in the sand. I was like, I hope that goes away. And I went to the doctor and they wanted me to go on Prilosec because I had acid reflux really bad. I was eating Tums and Rolaids 24/7. My gut was all jacked up. I'm pooping blood. And then it was very painful too. To go to the bathroom once or twice a day was not something I wanted to do because I knew there was going to be pain and blood.
Oh, wow.
So then one day we went to my wife and I went down on a vacation to northern Peru and to a town called Tumbes, south of Ecuador. And it was supposed to be that we planned this out, man. And her dad was going to meet. He worked at a hospital. He was a medical doctor. He ran this big clinic in Lima, Peru. And this is his first vacation in 30 years. The guy was a freaking just workaholic, but he loved what he did.
Yeah.
Helping people and stuff. And so we go down there and we're just enjoying ourselves. And about 3 days into it, we're out on the boat doing this fishing trip deal in the ocean. And all of a sudden I'm just like, I wasn't feeling good. And they're like, no, you got motion sickness. I'm like, no, I've fished a lot. I don't get this. Like, no, it's motion sickness. And it got worse. All of a sudden I was doubled up in pain.
Oh,
I was walking like bent over. Like, you see some super old dude and he's just like 150 years old and he's bent over and I couldn't walk erect. Well, he tested, thank God he's a medical doctor. He's like, look, we got to get you to a hospital. You need surgery. And I'm like, what? And we missed the plane flight out of there. There's only one plane flight every day. And I missed it by 30 minutes.
Oh man.
And he's like, we got to get you to a hospital. So they rented a van and in the middle of the night, they drove me down this bumpy ass road down the coastline of Peru to Piora.
Wow.
Let me tell you what, every single bump was like somebody was punching me and stabbing me in the gut. It was the most horrible experience I've ever had in my life. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It was like bumpity bump, 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 6 hours, stab punch. Oh. And by the time I got there, I was exhausted.
Yeah, I bet.
My clothes were soaked. My wallet was, even the money in my wallet was wet. Okay, that's how much I was sweating.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they put me on an examination table in a third world country, and there's bugs flying around in the deal. I'm sitting there going, crap, I've paid into medical insurance my whole life, and now I can't use it.
Right.
I'm like, whatever, And then everybody's talking in Spanish and stuff, and he had them dope me up. They put me on a commercial plane flight, which you're not supposed to do. I should have went right into surgery, but he didn't want them to do it. He's like, I have to have my surgeons do this. So he was on the phone, setting up the surgery room, getting everything dialed in. I landed in Lima, taxi cab, threw me on a gurney, right into surgery. And I spent the rest of my vacation recovering. And then my wife pushed me back into the United States in a wheelchair because I still wasn't recovered yet. And what I learned from that lesson was, number one, my poor health doesn't affect just me.
Yeah.
It affects everybody else around me. I ruined the trip for my wife and her dad. I felt terrible because he'd never taken a vacation. Where does he end up? Back in the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Taking care of me, poor guy. And but he did. He took really good care of me, and I really appreciate that. And the surgeons did a really good job. And this is where like Western type medicine shines. It was built in crisis mode. You get your arm blown off, you get a gunshot wound, you have an issue like mine. Surgeons, they're lifesavers. Thank God we have them. It's awesome, right? But for taking care of people with chronic issues like the other problems that I had, not so much, right? So I still didn't know what to do, man. I was eating, 5 meals a day, high protein, low protein, high carb, low carb, high fat, low fat, trying all these different things. And sometimes it'd work a little bit, but I just couldn't get better. And then a friend of mine got diagnosed, Charles got diagnosed with chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which supposedly in 2010 was this incurable blood cancer.
Oh man.
And he breaks the news to me and I'll never forget, I was in his office and I looked at the picture of him and his wife Judith and their son Charlie. And every year they'd go on this wonderful vacation and they'd put the new vacation picture on his desk, right? So he could look at it. And I was like, wow, next year Charles won't be in that picture. Like,
oh wow,
I'm gonna lose my friend. Because my experience with cancer was you die. My grandma died of brain cancer, my aunt died of skin cancer and lung cancer, and my buddy on my baseball team, Kalei Mahoy, died of at age 40 of stomach cancer and left 3 little boys behind. That was a really, that was tough. All us tough baseball players were in the church crying our eyes out. And
Yeah, I can
he did a
imagine.
fundraiser. He didn't have any, insurance or nothing. So anyway, Charles gets diagnosed. He's like, "Hey, look, dude, I want to see Charlie graduate high school. I want to go to Father-Son weekend at Oregon State University.
Yeah.
I want to live." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I don't blame you, but in the back of my mind, like you nothing you can do with this cancer thing." And he says, "So I'm going to go to the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's a natural detox and nutrition clinic. It was originally started by a gal named Ann Wigmore, who healed herself of stage 4 colon cancer
Wow.
like back in the 50s, early 60s. And she was from Lithuania, and she couldn't even speak English, but her grandmother was her surrogate grandma was the village doctor, village healer. Now it's run by doctors Brian and Anna Maria Clement. It's been around 65 years, and they've helped over 600,000 people have come through their door with catastrophic health issues, like my buddy Charles. And so I said, "Dude, I'm in. Whatever you need, I'll support you." No idea what I was getting into, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I grew up on, I was hunting and fishing, and deer and elk and chuckers and pheasants, all that stuff. And I thought, anyway, so we get there and he's like, "Oh, by the way, Tim, there's no meat, there's no dairy, there's no salt, there's no sugar, there's nothing cooked over 115 degrees, and there's no vinegar." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What do you mean no meat?" He's flipping me out, and I'm just like, I'm literally freaked out. Like, there's no way I would have went to this place if it wasn't for one of my best friends. Like, I thought he was going to die. Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, "Okay, Tim, like, I guess they have salads or something." You had salad bar in high school once a week. I guess you could just eat a salad, but there's hamburger on it though. So I'm like literally freaking out, but I had to put that all aside.
Yeah.
And all I can tell you was day 1 at that institute, my acid reflux was gone, and it's never returned since. By day 3, I was actually going through what they call a Hertz reaction. It's like a detox symptoms. I had night sweats. I was irritable. I had a metallic taste coming out of my tongue as these heavy metals were exiting my body.
No way.
So I didn't have as bad as some people. Had rashes breaking out in parts or all of their body. Parasites were literally coming out of people's pores. I saw a parasite come out of a lady's eye at lunch.
You're kidding me.
No, dude. And so how is this possible? Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's BS." Well, I was there. I got first person experience, right?
Yeah, right.
So the first class was called internal awareness. And this Dr. Scott Josephson comes out, and this guy's just like full of muscles. He's huge, great shape. And he said, "I haven't had meat in 10 years. And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so he blew my mind because I knew he wasn't BSing me. He was a genuine guy.
Yeah.
And he had turned 50 that day, and he looked like he was 40. So the people that have been working at that institute look about 10, 20 years younger than, they had been working there a while, than people, regular public. So I'm like, okay. And I was still like, I was taking notes, like, how could this little podunk place help people with cancer? This kind of stuff.
Right.
Race for the cure. There's billions of dollars being spent. We have our best minds on this, right? So if they can't do it, how could this place do it? So I'm very skeptical, but I'm there just to support my friend. And I'm trying to get to the bottom of this whole thing. And so this doctor in this internal awareness class, he teaches us from the time we eat food, what happens from when we chew it, goes through the digestive process and exits the body every step along the way. And I was like, wow, that was really cool. They didn't teach me this in high school, or maybe I was throwing spitwads and I wasn't paying attention, but it's pretty good stuff. Yeah. But he was trying to tell us that the average person, and this is a big takeaway for the listeners out there, the average person, especially if somebody's dealing with addiction, right, is because we have about 6 to 12 pounds of impacted fecal material in our colon.
Whoa.
That's the average. We also have this black, brown, viscous material. It's called a mucoid plaque that starts lining our intestinal tract, and it starts housing stuff. Okay. Viruses, bacteria, mold, yeast, fungus, parasites, chemical toxins. Jeez. And when you have toxins and stuff like that, or smokers and nicotine, it's like, it just keeps feeding upon itself. So it's really hard. Like I said, for addiction, stuff like that, it makes symptoms, the withdrawal symptoms worse, and it makes you more addicted to things. I can't really explain it right this second, but when your body's cleaned up and working processing things out quicker, it's like if somebody wants to quit smoking, they can quit much faster because the body's getting rid of stuff quicker, right? Yeah. It's not stuck in this gunk, right? Everything's plugged up. So he's trying to get us to do a colon hydrotherapy session to remove that 6 to 12 pounds. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. Is that called like a colonic?
Yes.
Is that similar? Okay.
Same thing. Yeah. Colonics, colon hydrotherapy, colon hydro water therapy. So it's a colon water therapy. And it's really simple. You just set on a tube. I'll just explain it because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, please.
You set on a tube rectally. and water gently goes in and out of your colon for about an hour. It cleans out your colon. Now, if you go online to look this up afterwards, you're going to see a bunch of scare tactics from Western medicine that'll kill you. If you want to get the deep dive on that, go to episode 38 of my show where I interviewed Gastro Girl, Rebecca Harder. She's a Act 1 certified colon hydrotherapist. She's done over 20,000 hydrotherapy sessions with people.
Yeah.
And there was one person that died, but their colon was nicked by a colonoscopy. And then, so it's really, if you need a week to heal, and then you can go do it, because the intestinal lining heals pretty rapidly.
Sure.
So anyway, don't be, scared of that. So, but I was like, dude, there's no way I'm doing this. I'm like elbowing Charles, like, I'll help you be here and all that, but I'm not doing that deal. But the doctor was really smart, Todd. So he showed 4 virtual colonoscopies of people, 3 on the standard American diet and 1 that had been on that Hippocrates lifestyle. So the first gal was like 24 years old. She had Hashimoto's. It's like a thyroid issue. And she had thrush, which is like a yeast infection. And inside of her colon, it was like yellow and white and just weird looking. The next guy was 65 years old with colon cancer and parasites. And inside his colon was all black and brown and nasty. And of course, it's a colon. You would expect some brown stuff, but this was like black, right? And then there's these white worms crawling around, like literally. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like, the doctor turned around and looked at all of us and he said, hey, look, parasites are not a third world affair. Don't kid yourself. Over 50% of you easily have parasites, and not these pinworms, hookworms, and tapeworms that you're seeing here on this virtual colonoscopy video. There's microscopic parasites that are in our body, our blood, our fat, and our muscle tissue, and all of them are eating our food, drinking our drinks, and they're urinating and defecating in us and causing more acid.
Oof.
That's what we're trying to get your body alkaline here.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just like, whoa. And he said they're also laying thousands of eggs and having hundreds of thousands of babies. And now I'm like freaked out. I'm like, do I have parasites?
Yeah.
So now my eyes are like wide open. And then the last gal was like a 45-year-old female with breast cancer and I think colitis. Her gut was jacked up, or Crohn's disease or something.
Right.
And inside of hers was all black again and nasty. Then they went to the person that had been on this Hippocrates lifestyle, fresh, clean water, green juices, eating sprouts and sprouted nuts, sprouted seeds, sprouted grains, sprouted beans, avocados, just lots of vegetables and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
right.
that whole thing over there, their healing diet it's plant-based. So, and for those listening, like big meat eaters like me, I'm not saying you can't ever eat meat again. I'm just saying that's what they were doing as a healing diet. They removed it because the meat is kind of high acid. And when they're trying to get you as alkaline as possible to speed up the recovery process. So you might need to, some people might need to do that for a while, and then they can go back and eat little bits, but they should probably eat less than what they were.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm just like looking at this, and I signed up for the colon hydrotherapy. The next day I went in, they weighed me, and then I did the 1 hour session. They weighed me again. I dropped 10 pounds of impacted fecal material
in 1 hour. Wow.
1 hour. And 2011, when I went there and first did this, the record at the time, I don't know if anybody's broke it yet. Hopefully not. But one lady had dropped 27 pounds of impacted funk and gunk and junk that was lining her colon. Now, for me, I like to extrapolate things out so I can understand them and visualize them. I was like, that's the size of a medium-sized dog falling out of your butt. Think about that. 27 pounds of this just putrefying stuff. And it houses the viruses, the bacteria, the mold, the yeast, the fungus, these parasites, and all this other stuff. So this is why those parasites were crawling out of people. This is why I had a metallic taste on my tongue. We were changing the internal terrain. When I saw the insides of the people that had the diseases and the healthy person, that's when it clicked for me, Todd.
Okay.
I realized it was an inside game.
Yeah.
And I had to get really smart about taking care of my gut, learning about those little intestinal villi and cleaning them up and keeping them clean and nurturing them and putting good foods in the proper combinations and drinking lots of water, which I wasn't doing, and stop eating things like the sugars and the acids and all the alcohols and stuff that I was doing. And guess what? That's what happened. You change the terrain. All of a sudden, the viruses, the bacteria, the mold, the yeast, the fungus, all these, they love a high acid, low oxygen. And at the Institute, from the inside out, they were putting you on the highest alkaline, highest oxygen lifestyle possible.
Man.
Change the terrain, they pack their bags, they leave, and you heal. And that's what I learned. So we did this in a few days. I looked at Charles one morning. I said, dude, do you feel as good as I do? And he's like, yeah, I feel amazing. I said, I've lost 11 pounds in a week. I can't even believe it. I feel like I'm 18. My mental clarity is ridiculous. My arms are literally tingling with energy. We have discovered the fountain of youth. This isn't some woo-woo thing, mythological deal.
Right.
Nature. And I have been disconnected from it. And I knew it because I grew up on a farm and I always liked up in the woods. And there's just some connection there with us. We have forgotten. People today believe that we live in nature or we live with nature. That's not right. We are nature. We are an expression of nature.
Ooh, I love that.
Your body, those listening, everybody listening, your body is made of mostly what? Water. Where do you find water? In nature, right? Most of your body is from nature. Your gut bacteria, it's a huge part of your immune system, right? Your gut microbiome, they call it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people take probiotics today and raw fermented sauerkrauts and kimchis. Well, guess what? Many of those bacteria, and you have 60 trillion bacterial cells in your body. Many of those same bacteria are in the soil. They're called soil microbiome. They're the exact same ones. So where does that come from? Nature.
Nature.
If you die in your family and you want to be cremated, what's left? A bunch of minerals. Where do those come from? There's dirt. Nature.
Dirt. Yeah.
We are nature. Let's get clear about that. And the reason why we have so many health issues today and is because we have been disconnected from nature. We live on, second story and on concrete, and we drive cars with rubber, and we're wearing rubber shoes, and we're watching, we're watching our phones and all this social media stuff.
Right. Yeah.
When people want to heal, the best thing to do is just disconnect from the news, go out in nature and just sit there. And just sit there and reconnect, and you won't believe it. The instincts will come back. The answers will come to you.
Yeah. I love that.
Quiet and just clear your mind and just sit out there in nature and watch a bee land on a flower and watch it do its thing. And you'll start healing. And there are clinics in China that do this. They just strip away the cell phones, they just send people out in the forest and they just start to heal. It's literally that simple. So what we do, we try to bring awareness to this, and then we, package up stuff to help them get all the crap out of their body. These little nutrition detox clinics in a box, I call them. And then we support them through coaching and private community type stuff. But the cool thing was, dude, is the story. So Charles went home. He, within 2.5 years, he healed himself of this so-called incurable cancer. His white blood cell counts back into normal. No chemo, no surgery, no radiation, nothing, right in front of my face. It's been, 12 years, 11, 10 years now, going on 11. We play guitar. He saw his son graduate high school. He went to the father-son weekend, and his son just sold him a house. His son's a real estate agent now.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Oh, that is amazing. What a journey. I mean, I can't believe what you're saying. But I also understand what you're saying. I try to I'm trying to be healthy myself and do these things, but listening to you, because I eat meat and things like that. And I'm sure, if I went through one of those processes, I might lose 10 pounds, but so talk about so here you are now, you're seeing the results in yourself. This obviously lit a fire in you, because not only did you see it for yourself, you wanted to do something to help other people. Talk about that transition and how you decided to create this amazing company that you have.
Okay. So I got home and me and Charles went full tilt, right? We're juicing twice a day. I started growing wheatgrass. Eventually I started growing sunflower and pea sprouts. I built these racks inside of my home. And I started growing these sprouts in my kitchen, got my kids involved. They were helping me water it. Kids loved it. So get your kids involved in growing these foods. And the reason why we're doing this is because sunflower sprouts, as an example, Todd, one handful of sunflower sprouts harvested and eaten on the spot is 30 times more nutritious than kale or sweet potato greens or mustard greens, the most nutritious vegetables, leafy greens.
Really?
So you would literally have to go eat 30 handfuls of fresh cut kale on the spot out of the best organic grown garden with the best soil, the equivalent nutrition of one little handful of these sunflower sprouts. That's how powerful they are, because that little sunflower sprout, that seed, has the potential to grow on this 10-foot sunflower, and it will follow the sun from east to west every day and eventually grow and make 200 to 1,000 seeds. The potential of 200 to 1,000 seeds is locked in that one little seed. And when you sprout it, it's all there. So you're consuming 100, it's just 100 to 800% more nutrition, right? So it's a smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And you can grow the best, most nutritious food for pennies. It is the finest, one of the finest medicines on the planet. Okay. So I
Dang.
started growing these sprouts. And then and I started telling my buddies about this, like, my buddy's going to heal a cancer. I know it. And they're like, yeah, you're crazy. Well, then they came over and saw me. Like, my buddy John's like, holy crap, dude. Because in 60 days, I dropped 42 pounds. It was gone. And my elbows were healed up. And the other skin issue that I forgot to tell you about on my shoulder was gone. The big patch of eczema on my knee, it was thick. It was pretty big. It took about 8 months for that to clear up.
And that's caused by like the chemicals and stuff of the bad stuff that you were eating. Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a combination of stress, chemical pollution in the body on a cellular level, and a lack of nutrition. Three simple things we'll talk about.
Okay.
So anyway, John comes over. He's a real estate agent buddy of mine, and he's like, well, what's up with these sprouts and what's going on with this? How'd you lose the weight? And I was like, I told you, dude. I went to this institute. He's like, well, I thought you were BSing me. And I'm like, but you lost. He's like, you're a different person. Like, whoa. Like, couldn't even believe it. Like, so the people that knew me, every time they saw me in a very short period of time, they're like, whoa. Like, and then they're like, I want to know what you're doing. Everybody's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because they saw the physical change in me. It was so rapid. I was going to work as a financial advisor in my old suit.
Yeah.
My wife goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you cannot go to work like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you look like an idiot. Like, that suit is way too big for you. Like, you look like a little kid putting on a big suit or something. And I was like, really? So I called the seamstress guy or whatever, this tailor, and he comes over and he's like, I can't take it in enough. He goes, you're just gonna have to get new suits. And I was like, I didn't want to spend the money. So, ladies and gentlemen, the bad news is, if you follow my footsteps, you're probably gonna have to get a new wardrobe. But you probably need one anyway, because most of the materials you're wearing are synthetic and they're off-gassing into you. So we can probably talk about that later. But so it was really cool. So I got new suits, started doing all this stuff. Well, then John he goes, will you grow these sprouts for me? I'm like, dude, there's no way. I'm too busy. But he talked me into it. And then 2 days later, he brings over another realtor. And he's like, hey, talk to my buddy Eric here. Tell him your story. So I tell him the story. And then Eric's like, will you grow sprouts for me? And I'm like, okay. And then these guys start sending, and the word gets out. And before too long, we have people coming over all the time. And I'm telling this little story and da-da-da. And some of them, wanted me to grow sprouts too. And then all of a sudden I had to double my little rack system that I built.
Yeah, right.
And me and the kids are growing lots of sprouts now. And these people are coming over to the house and picking them up, and it's getting kind of crazy. And then one night, my wife and I were going out for date night, and this lady shows up, and she's got cancer, and she's like, I need help. They said, I go put your affairs in order. And I heard about you guys and your friend's story, and I want to know what you're doing. And I looked at my wife and I was like, I got to help her. So date night's canceled. And so I go over and tell the story and start growing sprouts for her too. And so we decided, I said that night, I said, we need to have a structured around this. So I'm going to do classes on Wednesdays. And if people want to come, they have to come on Wednesdays. And then those filled up very quickly. And then we finally do Tuesday night classes as well. And then I was also teaching classes on Saturdays and Sundays in hospitals, churches, apartment complexes, at grocery stores and their little places and stuff like that. And there was no business around. I was just growing. In fact, I found out years later, I was actually losing money when I actually did the math on it to grow the sprouts for people. But a lot of these people, Todd, had been blasted with chemo and they were just wiped out and they just didn't have the energy. They wanted me to do it. So I turned my garage into a grow operation before marijuana was legal in Oregon. So I had to go tell my neighbors, like, look, I'm not growing marijuana. I'm growing a different type of grass. It's called grass. Come over and look. And so my neighbors started calling me Grass Man and the Sprout Guy. And
really,
I got a bunch of nicknames. And then I eventually had to hire somebody to help me, because I was like getting up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock, watering, tending, getting all the orders ready, and then driving around Portland before traffic got bad, dropping them off on people's porches, and then being at my 8 a.m. financial services meeting over in Vancouver, Washington, 45 minutes away. And it was just too much. I couldn't do it anymore, but people kept coming to the classes, and the whole garage got full of sprouts. Right. So this went on for 5.5, 6 years. And then finally, when I moved to a new place, the garage wasn't suitable to do it. So I had to stop doing it. I sold the little grow it thing to somebody else, and they started doing it. And then I started Chemical Free Body. And then we just started making the products. I got Dr. Scott Treadway on staff, who's super healthy himself. And his skin's like 35 and he's in his 70s. and he's the one that helped us with our product. So we've created it, and we can ship them, because you can't really ship sprouts to Australia, but I can ship my products there and give these like clinics in a
Right.
box to people. So
Okay.
that's how the whole thing got started. I learned
Dang.
a lot. We had over 5,500 people tour these classes in my home, and I have just become, I can't stop thinking about it. I geek out on this 24/7. All I want to do is get healthier, and then learn to teach it to other people so they can also get healthier. So that's what we do over here.
Well, I love that. And you gave up a career, basically, that you were going down, a very lucrative career for you, to actually just do this full time so you could just be in a position to help other people.
Yeah, I literally had a golden parachute. So I was smart. I got out of the mortgage industry to get into the financial services industry because I wanted residual income.
Right.
If I figured if I'm going to work my butt off for the next 20 years, when I'm done, I want it to keep trailing in. And you can do that in financial services. I got into the industry. The guy that I work with, Jeff Dixon, he's retired now. He was just an awesome dude. Just a really good person. Well, I got into the financial service industry and found out that most of the stuff that they were selling isn't what was good. So we had a whole different approach.
Okay.
But besides that, he had a big organization. I think at the time it was netting about 2.4 million a year. I was going to inherit that. I was the one that was going to take over that and getting groomed for that. And I walked away from it. Even Charles, he's like, dude, you're a moron. What are you doing? And I'm like, I was like, I was sitting there. I'll never forget, Todd. I was upstairs, and my little brother had gotten killed in a mountain biking accident. Just not sure. I can't remember just a while after that.
Oh,
And it was really, I had no spiritual practice at that point. I didn't know how to deal with it. I was smart enough to not punch walls when it would overcome me.
Yeah.
I would like slam my bed like the Hulk and cry. And one day I was just sitting upstairs, and then I thought about Troy, and I'm just like, Troy, what do you want me to do? And I screamed it out at the top of my lungs, and I heard him say clearly, do what you love and do it now. And I picked up my phone and I called up Jeff, and I said, dude, I'm out. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I go, I'm out of the financial services industry. And just out of nowhere. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I said, dude, I'm out. I said, my little brother's dead. And I'm not going to go out doing something. He went out riding mountain bikes, and he was a farmer, and he went out doing what he loved. And I said, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out doing what I love. And I want to tell people about sprouts and detoxing and feeling good. And like, I have all this up. I feel like it's a complete do-over, dude. It's like a little kid, like, oh, it's all messed up. Let's just do a do-over. I felt like I got a do-over in my life, and I wanted to be able to give other people do-overs. So he's like, well, how are you going to make money? I'm like, I have no idea, dude, but I'm out. So I spent the next 3 months personally meeting with all my clients and handing them off to him and one-on-one meetings. So I couldn't just drop these people. They had to get their life savings, for God's sakes.
Sure.
Once that was done, I was full steam ahead. Luckily, I was a steward with my money, and I was able to live off my savings for about a year and a half or two. And I started coaching people for free, and then I hired a coach, and then he convinced me to start charging people once I got fairly good.
Yeah, right.
Confident I did. And I made a living coaching people for a while. And then I don't do the private one-on-one stuff now. We have coaches underneath me that work, and then I do private. I have like a group coaching community that I lead once a week.
Oh, love it.
And then we have our products. And now I'm all about just growing the business, adding more products, to more tools to help people. And that's what we're doing today.
I love it. I love it. Well, amazing story, Tim, and amazing, transformation in you. And I'm sorry to hear about your brother, but I love the answer that you got. Do what you love and do it now. And, obviously that's why you're doing so well. Someone listening to this who, might want to, start changing their life and changing their diet and want to be that energetic, looking younger kind of person, maybe talk about some of these products that you guys have created that are very, can be life-changing for them. Can you share a few of those with us?
Sure. Well, I think the first thing is, like, I'm still a big proponent of colon hydrotherapy and enemas. Okay. I never thought I was going to be that dude. Okay. I really didn't even know what that stuff was. Okay. And enema, I was like, oh, it's kind of something, but if you look back in history, like a generation or so ago, every aunt or grandma, mom had a enema bag hanging on the back of the freaking door in the bathroom. And, in settlers' days and stuff like that, if one child got sick, that child would get an enema immediately because the mom didn't want to deal with a sick child. She was busy, washing clothes. There wasn't there wasn't a dishwasher. There wasn't a washing machine, dryer,
right.
making food. And they had to take grain and make their own powder. I mean, they were working. right? And raising those kids. And some moms would give all the kids an enema just in case, because she didn't want to deal with sick kids, because that's how powerful that stuff is. So anyway, the most important thing that I think is that we have to get that pathway of elimination cleaned up, right? If your truck or your car or tractor, the way I looked at it, because I grew up on a farm, isn't running well, little check engine light pops on.
Right.
And we have those check engine lights, but nobody gave us an owner manual to the body. So when you're overweight like I was, you have skin issues like I did, you're tired or fatigued, mental fog, you're on pharmaceutical drugs, your joints hurt, arthritis, whatever, fibromyalgia, MS. These are all check body lights. Your body is telling you, stop what you're doing, change the terrain, change your habits, change the environment. But we don't know what, we're not paying attention to them. So it's like, imagine having a car, you spend $50,000 on this car, and you're driving it, and the check engine light comes on. You're like, the hell with it. And you just keep driving it. Now, who's going to do that? You know, if you keep doing that, that car is going to break down and leave you stranded.
Exactly.
Or it's going to, by the time you do take it into the shop, the repair bill is going to be way huge. It's going to be a big repair bill because you didn't do preventative. You didn't get on it right when the light went on. But that's what we're doing with our bodies. We have these lights. I'm overweight. I'm tired. I'm fatigued. I don't feel good. I'm in pain. I'm sore. And we just ignore it until a wheel falls off. And then you're in the hospital. And then you're into a broken medical system. That's where we're at today.
Yeah.
So we want to bring awareness to people to do that. So that cleaning out the gut, the first thing to do to get the body well is we have to look at your inputs. We want to be an intelligent system. Now, in nature, everything in the universe is a system. You can either be an open, AKA dumb system, or you can be an intelligent system. And there's 4 more parts to an intelligent system. But what I would say is, like, let's look at your inputs. What's coming into your system? You got to get your air cleaned. Okay. Our air is freaking polluted today. It just is. Right. It's polluted, especially if you're in the inner cities. If you're in a home, after you paint for 4.5 years, that paint is off-gassing chemicals. If you have carpet in your home, it's off-gassing formaldehyde. Where else do you find formaldehyde? Well, 7th grade biology class, they dip the frogs in it, and you can find them in a mortician does it, right?
Yeah.
So we have to get our air clean. Number 2, input. Because air's number 1. Without it, you're dead in 4 to 7 minutes. So oxygen, number 1 nutrient, right? And you want pure, clean nutrient, clean oxygen.
Yeah.
Number 2, water. About 11 days. Without water, you're dead. So that becomes pretty darn important. And you want to get your water clean. Number 3, sleep. It's about 11 days on that one too. If you're not getting good quality sleep, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the food, clean food. And then we have exercise, movement. There's things like sunshine, your spiritual practice. There's all these things, but there's kind of a line there. Now, the second one, the water, is probably the easiest thing for people to start cleaning up.
Sure.
And start drinking more of, at least, right? And then we have a product called Gut Detox. It's an ancient formula from India that people can take 3 in the morning, 3 at night, and they can start cleaning up that funk and gunk and junk out of their colon. Because I know, even as convincing as I am and adamant as I am, as people should get colon hydrotherapy out of the gate, get 2 sessions back to back to get that colon cleaned out. And a lot of people aren't going to do it. I've coached a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, I ain't doing it. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So we have this product, right? It was actually the second product we came out with. The first one was our greens, because we're trying to replace the nutrients missing in the soil. So we have a lack of nutrition in the soil. 85% of the nutrients are gone. So we have to replace that. So that's where supplementation comes in today. It's not I think I should supplement. It's a necessity. Like, most people are walking around, Todd, on 15% fuel. Can you imagine what you're going to feel like when you're on 100% octane?
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't
imagine. Our product, this Green 85 juice formula, it's called Green 85 for a reason. It replaces the 85% that's missing in the soil. It's just that simple. So even if you're eating organic, the soil quality is still not where it should be. So number 1, we have to replace the nutrients. We're nutrient deficient on a cellular level. Yeah. That's why 80% of us are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. We eat and we eat and we eat and we eat, because on a cellular level, we can never satisfy our need for nutrition. And our cells are saying, I want nutrients. I want nutrients. Go eat. And we do. But the food is degraded. It's pasteurized. It's irradiated. It's boxed. It's canned. It's manipulated. It's sprayed with chemicals. It's denatured. Man. So the more we eat, we can never satisfy our need for nutrition on a cellular level, because it's not in the food. So we are no different than a little starving kid in Africa with a distended stomach. Right. The only difference is that we are malnourished just like him, but we're overweight because of all the excess calories.
Oh man.
That's the only difference. So the other kid's even better off than we do because he doesn't have all these cancer causing fat cells on his body that are bioaccumulating all these toxins, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So nutrition's number one, real nutrition. Yes, we need it. Number two, the chemical pollution. It's rampant. All people have to do is, don't take my word for it, type in these 3 words into your browser after you're done listening to this podcast. Umbilical cord chemical. Umbilical cord chemical. You guys will see what I saw 9 years ago. There's studies going back to 2005, Todd, that show that every single child being born today, the umbilical cord blood, they test for 400 chemicals. They found 250 of what they're looking for. And 180 of those cause cancer in humans, and 212 cause developmental and brain disorders. Now, hear what I just said.
Jeez.
All of our children being born today have 180 cancer-causing chemicals in their body. All you have to do is go look. Forever, the number one killer for children, accidents. Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
It's changed, right? Now from 0 to 5, it's brain cancer. That's the number one thing killing our kids. And those studies show that we have these cancer-causing chemicals in the blood, in the umbilical cord. Young babies and moms, supposedly the healthiest of all of us. Now, from ages 5 to 16, it's still number one killer is accidents. Number 2 is a tie between brain cancer and leukemias. Both of these, we believe, are completely chemical, and a lack of nutrition and stress. So we have got to, we believe that people need to have awareness about this, that these toxic chemicals, and the older you are, the more time you've had to breathe in, drink in, eat in, wear clothes that are off gassing, makeup, shampoos, Glade air fresheners, all this stuff, automobile fume exhaust, jet fuel, all these things, rubber compounds off of tires. We are bioaccumulating these toxins in our fat and our muscle tissue, and they're not leaving. And the older we are, the more polluted we are. That's when I sit back and I'm like, oh my God, we're all polluted. So our mission over here, that's what we call it, chemical free body. We want you to have awareness, and we want you to show you where they're coming in so you can stop putting them in. And we give you tools and methods and things to get them out so you can have a chemical free life, getting back to nature. That's very important. So you have the nutrition, flood the body with nutrition, get the chemicals and the toxins out of the body. Just because you can't see them, they are a body burden. They're dragging down their immune system. We've seen people can rapidly come back when they get this and they start taking these measures. And then the third thing, which is huge, is learning how to mitigate the stress in your life. Everybody has so much stress. We were so stressed out even before this whole COVID sham thing's going on.
Oh yeah.
So what we have to do is we have to, breath work, meditation, exercise, yoga, getting outside in nature, hanging out with people that you love and friends and family, getting outside in sunshine, things that are going to reduce your stress. Very important.
No, I love
and
that.
These are big topics, but to simplify them, that's why I think it's 3 things: lack of nutrition, chemical pollution on a cellular level, and we have stress. If we can work on those 3 things, we can turn our lives around.
Wow. And you've done that, Tim, and it's amazing. So how long have you been on this journey? I mean, you had that experience with your friend, and, you heard, you had that, I don't know what you called it, but I call it a clonic, but you lose these 10 pounds and you start seeing
the Roto-Rooter.
The Roto-Rooter. How long's that been now? How long's that been?
It was 2011. January of 2011 was when I landed in Hippocrates. So it's been about 11 years. Yeah.
Well, again, when my listeners see you, they're going to go, wow, you really do. You look so young. Your skin looks amazing.
Yeah. For no sun. I haven't any sun.
Yeah. No sun, but still, I mean, honestly, you look great. And it's like, I'm seeing this, firsthand. And again, the thing I really love a lot about what you're saying and you is your passion. You're obviously very passionate about this, and you can hear it in your voice. You can hear it I can see it in your, your body language and all that. So I just think it's so impressive of what you're doing, Tim.
Well, I think you bring up an important point. I saw a study done that 74% of people are working at careers that they don't like at all, just for a paycheck. And it's really sad. And just recently, my girlfriend and I were watching this docu-series. And these couple dudes went down to Costa Rica, and at this school, they don't do homework, and the children get to learn what they want to learn. And I was like, wow, this fits into the stuff that I've been learning in my spiritual practice. Yeah. So hopefully this is a big takeaway. So that's the kind of school I want to do. I'm 49 years old. My children are 19 and 21. I got 2 boys, but I wouldn't mind having another set, move down to Costa Rica and let them get raised at that, go to that school. right?
Right.
They don't have homework and they get to learn what they want to learn. And this fits in perfectly that what I've learned for me that's worked. I don't have a business plan anymore. I don't get into any of that stuff. I don't have a life plan. I mean, I write goals down, but then I drop
Right.
them and walk away from them.
Yeah.
I have vision boards and all that stuff. But my business plan, my life plan now is very simple. I follow my highest excitement to the best of my ability every moment of every day. And here's the key, with no insistence on a particular outcome.
Mm,
That's the key. So, and it doesn't have to
love
be
that.
some big career choice or big thing. It's everything, because everything is connected to who? You,
You.
right?
Yeah.
So it can be little things, going for a walk, talking to a friend, going for a drive, go exercise, whatever it is, all those things, whatever you have the best, like when the listeners are done here today, look around and see what you have the best ability to take action on that gives you the most joy, the most excitement, and go do it until you can no longer do that thing. And when that's done, look around, find the next thing that gives you the most joy or excitement, and go do that. And keep doing that, and keep doing that, and keep doing that, and build that muscle. And what you'll see is that synchronicities start happening. And it's crazy. Like people will be in the right place at the right time. People start helping you. And so much in this society, we look at financial abundance as the only way of success.
Right.
In this time space reality, I still am a believer that money is a valid form of abundance, and there's nothing wrong with it at this
Right.
not at this juncture.
Yeah.
But when you look at money as the only way to have abundance in your life, you're actually closing and locking all the other doors in which abundance can come to you. And maybe somebody gifting you something, or somebody just being at the right place at the right time, all these different things. And I have seen this happen in my life. And I'll tell you one of the stories when I started practicing this. I got done with yoga, which I was following my highest excitement. I went over and got some raw coconut water at the grocery store. And I'm on a high, man. I'm just doing what I love. And I'm this, and I bought this thing and it was $5.99 plus a 10% deposit. So it was $6.09, right? And I had $6 in my wallet and then like $100 bills or something. And I was like, oh, I didn't really want to break 100. And then I was like, oh my God, give a penny, take a penny. I've always given to that thing. I've never taken. There was a ton of pennies in there. So I was talking to this lady at the cashier. I was like, about following your highest excitement. I'm telling everybody about it because it's just changed my life. And I said, here, let me show you how it works. And I literally reach into this huge bucket of pennies and I grabbed some of them. And in my mind, I was like, my ego or whatever is like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. But I was in such a high after yoga. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to you. And I opened my hand up and I said, count those pennies. And she goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's like, how did you do that? And I said, I did it because I'm following my highest excitement to the best of my ability every moment of every day. And I just knew there was going to be 9 pennies in there. She's like, oh my God, what do you do for a living? I said, I help people find their highest excitement in life. And I do it through health because that was the pathway that I went. She's like, can I have your card?
Yeah.
And then the lady next to me, I didn't even see her because I was so engaged with the cashier. She's like, I want your card too. Because she saw the whole thing. Right. And dude, I could tell you story after story after story.
Man,
so I start looking for these things. I start looking for these synchronicities and I expect them to happen. Now, recently I just had a guy who heard me on another podcast about 2 years ago, got on the products, cleaned up himself. He was 220 pounds. Now he's 160 pounds. He was a bad dad. Now he's a great father. He had major anxiety. His anxiety's gone. He joined our group coaching community and he's a machinist. He's a working class person, right? And he goes out and uses his hands and he creates something. He actually creates value in the marketplace. Well, now when he comes home, he built himself a website and he just launched himself a podcast. Well, I decided to do this. I was behind on podcasts and I had this awesome guest and he couldn't make it. He had a family thing come up. So it's pushed me in a little bit of a pinch. So I'm like, okay, this is happening for a reason. What's the reason? Where's the benefit? I'm like, I'm going to do a solo show on what it takes to become a health hero, right? Because that's kind of our thing over here. Be a health hero.
Be a health hero. Yeah.
And then I was writing out the notes to it and I thought, I'm going to call Nick. Nick is actually a perfect example of somebody who's become a health hero. And I called him up and he's like, dude, I can't believe you're calling me. And I've been wanting to talk to you for 3 weeks about this, but I've been too scared to ask you and try to get a hold of you because I know you're hard to get a hold of and all this stuff. And I can't believe you're calling. I was like, is it okay? Do you have time to do it right now? I literally, he's like, no, I want to do it like right now. And I was like, isn't it crazy that it's something that you wanted to do? and you could do it right now. So when you follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability, every single moment, that's how it works. It's just synchronicity. It's synchronicity.
Yeah.
People line up. And now I'm just like, yep, I expect this to happen. Like, I wasn't thinking about Nick, right? I was following my highest excitement because I wanted to have this healer, Scott, on, who I'll have, Scott Burgess.
Yeah.
He's awesome, but he had this family thing coming up. But I wasn't insistent on that outcome.
Right.
He was my highest excitement, and we're all set up for that Sunday, and I delayed it to have him on, and then it switched. So since I wasn't insistent on the outcome of Scott, I didn't get all bummed out. So I went to the next thing, which was me. And then all of a sudden to do this single show. And then I brought Nick on, and then we had a great show, and he's been very grateful. Anyway, it's just, that's how it works, guys. When you're listening, I can't tell you enough how important it is to follow your excitement, your joy, and your passion, and do it without an insistence on a particular outcome. It's the map. It is your higher mind, God, he, she, or it, however you look at things, whatever religion you're at. Yeah. Our physical mind is connected to God, that higher mind, the vortex, whatever you want to call it. And that higher mind is the view on the mountaintop. It has the 30,000 foot view. It can see you down in the valley, in the trees. We don't know what to do with the physical mind. All we do is perceive what to do. And when it sends through the conduit of imagination, this excitement and this joy, listen to it. It's the map. Why would it steer you wrong? It is you. It's you telling you what to do. It's not going to hurt. It's if you feel joy and excitement, go do it. It's yourself telling yourself what to do. And yourself is never going to steer you wrong. I promise you that. Wow.
Beautifully said, Tim. Thank you so much for sharing that. If people want to reach out to you, Tim, and get these products that you've mentioned and the other things that you're doing, or learn more from you and get more coaching from you, what's the best way for someone to do that?
Just probably go to our website at chemicalfreebody.com. And if somebody wants to try our products, we have a lot of them. So I would probably say just go to the products tab, scroll down to savings bundles. That way you can get a discount on your products. We have a little jumpstart bundle.
Okay.
If you stick your toes in the water. If you want to go all in, I have what's called the Total Energy and Detox Bundle. That's what I do on a monthly basis. That's what we get all of our private VIP coaching students doing. And I also take our newest, our breakthrough turmeric product, which is 185 times more anti-inflammatory and absorbable. No black pepper needed. It's a whole new pathway of absorption through the mucous membrane of the mouth. It's amazing. And then at checkout, if they put in the word, thanks to you, Todd, Belief Cast.
Yes.
Type in Belief Cast at checkout. You get an additional 5% off. So you get a double discount. We have a double your money back guarantee on all of our products. So if something doesn't work for whatever reason, we will refund your money, but please call us, get on the phone with myself or one of our coaches. We'll do a little quick consult with you and find a different product or a different product at a different company. We know how to go through the supplement industry. Maybe that would be a good one. You can get me back on and we can go through, expose all these supplements and why, 98% of them you do not want to put in your body, even if it's a good formula, because there's other things in there, these excipients, binders, fillers, and flow agents they're putting in at the labs that you just, they say it's good, but I've done my homework. It's not.
Right. Well, you definitely have done your homework. You're obviously very knowledgeable, and I'm grateful that you're going to give our listeners a discount on the stuff that you have there. I'm going to be upfront and honest with you, Tim. I'm going to buy something myself. I'm going to try it. I'm going to put it to the test, and I challenge my listeners to do the same. I couldn't agree with you more. We've got to be in sync with nature. We've got to take care of our bodies, our minds, our hearts, you name it. And I just love your passion for what you're doing. And we need more people like you, Tim.
Well, we're all out there. And, I work with Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. He invented email when he was 14, and he's one of the top immune system experts in the world. And he's a top mathematician. The guy's amazing. And he said, people just don't he goes, I learned this when I was I think he said he was 12 or 14. By 16, he knew that we are like atomic bombs. Like inside of us, we have so much power and potential. And through my spiritual practice, I've learned that we have the power of the universe locked inside of us.
Yeah.
Literally, every single mineral and thing on this planet and this space, it's inside of us, physically and emotionally, spiritually, it's there. And we have just got it's like the sun, man, the sun's beaming down. Yeah. The sun's never going to stop. Right. But sometimes the clouds get in the way. And that's us getting in front of ourselves. All we have to do is it's not about being enlightened. It's about getting rid of all the clouds and the crap in the way and letting ourselves just lighten up. I think that's the thing. If you want to be enlightened, just freaking lighten up on yourself. Don't take
Love
things
that.
too seriously.
Oh, I love that, Tim. That is beautiful, man. Well, I can't thank you enough, Tim, for sharing your knowledge and your passion with us today and with our listeners. It's amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're doing all these great things. And I'm excited to have our listeners hear this. And just, I don't know, I can't thank you enough for taking some time today for us.
Dude, my pleasure. And I love it that you did the challenge too. So maybe what we'll do is we'll get you on the products for 30, 60, 90 days. We'll do a recap and we can get some more value for people. And then, actually, I'll tell you, I had this guy, Charlie Robinson. He did this. He was another podcaster. And before we were supposed to have our call to tell me how his results went, to see if I was even going to have me back on, he sent me a video and he talked about it. He ripped his shirt off. He's completely shredded and pulled his shorts off to the side, and he dropped like 2-3 pant sizes. It was pretty cool. So I said, I guess it worked. Wow.
That's awesome. That is amazing. Well, thanks again, Tim. And I just, beautiful conversation. And I can't wait to learn more about all this. I'd like to thank our listeners for tuning in once again. Please share this, guys. Not only just listen to it, but also share it with your family, share it with people that you know that might be struggling with their health. They need something different. They've tried everything under the sun, kind of like what Tim was doing. Give this a chance, give it a shot. So thank you again, Tim, for everything you're doing.
Appreciate you, Todd.
Yep. Check them out. chemicalfreebody.com. Until next time, everybody, take care.